Welcome, foolish mortals. We are back
Oh,
live for the first time in quite a while. Um, Apologies to Mark for kind of jumping on his stream for a sec. Also, Shabby and those guys will be on in a minute. I keep forgetting who's all on Fridays.
well,
Uh,
wait, isn't Shabby in an hour? Don't they start in an hour from now?
I thought they started at 1. Maybe they start at 2 now.
I
I
don't
don't know.
know. I,
Half the time I can catch them for a few minutes at work, and then sometimes I can't. So, you
I
know.
thought we were squeezing
Hey.
in between Mark Blue Harvest and then in an hour is when USR starts. And so we were squeezing in that hour in between the two, is what I thought. But
Cool. Yeah,
I don't know. I could be wrong. Yeah, it's hard to keep track. We need one of those like a TV guide that has all the different live streams all week, you know?
I keep saying YouTube should set something up like that up. That's just a calendar that shows you, what who you follow and who's doing a live stream. Hey,
Yeah,
John, how
you
you
could you
doing?
we could yeah, or at least have something that we could input the different shows we watch and then it would just lay them out when there's planned live streams. Yeah.
Yeah, it's yeah, I wouldn't do probably good for last minute ones.
No,
Hey,
no.
Left Coast, how you doing, man? Good to see you, Mr. Dino. I love the logo. I will be ordering something here shortly. Now that I'm back on.
Wrong.
Off, how you doing, man? Good to see you. Good to see you. Chief Force,
Hey G-Force.
Life
Life
Anime
Anime
Gaming.
Gaming.
Nice to see you. Nice to see you. Hope hope there should be a package off to you
Oh yeah.
shortly.
Yeah, yeah.
LAG.
Ooh.
You should have gotten it by now. Hopefully,
Hey Gerard.
that is true. Dude knows how to make spreadsheets.
That's
He
it,
should,
yeah. We could
YouTube
get dude to do it.
should get him involved.
We gotta get dude to do it, yeah. Well, I like your shirt there, Chris. Cold Games.
Cobain.
Yeah. His birthday was just a few days ago, and
It was.
Space Buns was either yesterday or today, right?
I think it was yesterday.
Sleeping's girlfriend or wife? They're married, right? Wife? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, good. I sent it before I left for Florida, so I was
Oh,
hoping it got there.
he got it. Cool.
Super awesome 1000 Ghosts. That's the name of our new show.
Yeah, there you go. Hi Nathan, how you doing?
Nate, good to see you, man. Well, as everybody knows, I went down to Florida for this past week, and I met up with
Yay!
John. That was so much fun. We
Oh,
had
it was a
a
blast.
but kind of going over our trip a little bit and some new do's and don'ts that I learned very quickly
Oh, cool. Yeah.
while at Disney. So, Cameron, how you doing? Well, thanks for dropping by. Drop a like while you're here, please, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you. Oh, no problem. I think I got my secret Santa box today, so I'll shoot a little video and shoot it off to you guys. So, Left Coast, that is an important thing, as the great Frank Zappa taught us. Do not eat the yellow snow. Monkey Shine, how you doing?
Hey, Monkey
Good
Train.
to see you. Good to see you. I feel a lot better. And you know what was, the most important thing I learned is that take a day after. Either
Yeah,
take a day before or a day after your vacation. Do not try and go to work the next day.
yeah, yeah.
I actually took 2 days. I took a day before and 2 days after. I don't go to work till tomorrow morning at 2
Yeah.
a.m. But
I always take at least one full day, and if I can do two, I'll do 2 days after I get back from a vacation, because I almost need like like what do you call it? Like a I don't know. You got to just relax and detox yourself from the vacation part, because the travel gets you. You know, the
yeah,
traveling gets you. So you need a day to just do nothing. You know,
yeah,
and when you're on vacation, a lot of times you're on the go. Also, you're like especially at Disney World, you're constantly on the go and going to different places and seeing stuff. It's like stimulation overload. So you need a day just to, or two sometimes, just to be like, I'm doing nothing. I'm just vegging.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's what I found is, yesterday was nice. I went to the grocery store, I did some laundry and stuff. But
Yeah.
today is when I'm feeling it of ah, I got to relax a little bit and, not
Yeah.
go do anything and just sit.
And
Um
that's the other part too. You most of the time have to do laundry before you go back to work. You've got to fill up the fridge, get new groceries. You know what I mean? So there's also things to do when you get back from a long trip. If you're gone for more than 4 or 5 days, at least on for me, that's I only have food in the fridge for 2 or 3 maybe at the most. I don't do
yeah.
like week long shopping things. I do 2 or 3 days and then 2 or 3 days. So even if I go for a 4 day trip or something, I need groceries when I get back.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think it's um important to understand your travel day is not a real day.
Yeah, yeah.
Um we got in at noon Florida time, and it took us until 7:45 p.m. to get into the park
Wow.
because of several issues. One of them is if you have somebody who's got a handicap and is riding a scooter or something, it takes a while to get places, because the Disney buses only have spots for two handicapped people, and the Mears buses that came to pick you up from the airport only have one.
Oh, wow.
So they can pick up like sure 50 some odd people, but they only have room for one handicapped person. And
Yeah.
so it took us almost 2 hours just to get out of the airport and to
Wow.
the hotel. But once you get there, um, we wanted to go to the park no matter what. We paid for that day, we wanted it, and so we did in fact head out and got some stuff done, and it was nice. But I think we rushed a little bit too much because then we were back at about 11 or so, and we wanted to catch up with you first thing in the morning, and we
Yeah.
didn't really. The time change is also a thing. I'm used to getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning, my time. My mom and the person we came with were not. So when
So
it's
we
seven,
we had we had planned on meeting about 10 o'clock. So what
yeah,
time was that for you
that would
guys?
have been 8 o'clock my time.
Okay.
So when we get around, I was up because I would have been up at 7 o'clock your time, just puttering around. But most everybody else was not. So the timing of taking that evening when you first get there to relax, unpack, just kind of wander around your hotel and get situated, grab
Yeah.
a map, know where you're going,
Yeah.
is very
Well,
important, I think.
you even need a map sometimes just for the hotel you're in because
Oh
those
yeah.
those resorts that are in Disney, they have their own little path that winds around, and there's always a big main pool and like an area to eat, like a food court little area, and then you got like 4 or 5 buildings with the different rooms in it, and then there's always like if you stay at like Animation or Pop Century, there's characters and other things to see around the hotel, around the
Hmm.
resort. So that in itself, you can start walking around see a character and go, oh, I got to walk over there and get a picture of Elsa or whatever, and like, oh, the turtle from Finding Nemo, I got to go see that. And then you're like, oh crap, where's my room? Like,
Yeah.
I took a couple winding paths, and now I don't have any clue where I am related to my room or the food
Well, in
court or
art and
anything.
animation, they have a Finding Nemo section, and they have a Little Mermaid section that look almost identical.
Yeah, that
And
too.
so somebody we
Yep.
were with is kind of got lost a couple times because all he saw was sea. And
Everything's under the water. I don't know which one
yeah, I don't know
I'm
what it
at,
is. Why couldn't they make these different? Arr, arr, arr. Um, you know, but also that another thing is be careful who you take with you to them. Make sure they're gonna jive well with the group. Make sure that they're not you know I love the guy who came with us to death. I've known him for 25, almost 30 years now. But honestly, we had more fun when he wasn't around.
By the end of the trip, it was like you.
Well, he actually abandoned us several times. So, and just kind of went off and did his own thing without telling us where he was going.
Wow.
And so, but that tinged a little bit. But after that, we had a good time. We had a great
Yeah.
time. We had a great time with you, even if we didn't understand what we were eating at the
That's
place.
true. Yeah. Yeah.
Something else I think everybody should do, and I did do, but not to the extent I should have, is YouTube is your friend for Disney trips. And if you can watch people walk around and do, because people live stream from Disney every day. And so, actually, oddly, I had fish and chips 3 times while I was in Florida.
Yeah, we
Can't get
went
it.
to England. Yeah, we
Yeah,
went to England. Chris and I went to England while we were in Disney World.
exactly. Had decent stuff. But if you can watch people walk around, then you'll know where stuff is. You won't
Okay.
necessarily know exactly, but you'll know that, okay, just past Pecos Bill is where, the Country Bear Jamboree is, and then just further down is where this is. And you understand how the lands are set up.
Yeah.
And yeah, you'll know where things are, so you can say, well, here we'll meet over here. As long as others have a map or something they can find you. Um,
And that
but
section of Magic Kingdom is a little bit confusing. You go down past, like you come around by Small World and stuff, go down to the Haunted Mansion, then you come down around, and then there's like a big loop. And depending on which way you go, you don't realize that suddenly you're in Frontierland, and then suddenly you're in like this other, and you're like, wait a minute, how'd I get here? So that little area can be confusing. And
yeah,
you've got Swiss Family Robinson right in the middle there on the island and stuff, and yeah,
yeah, the whole Adventureland.
yeah,
It's not
Adventureland, yeah,
New Orleans Square. I'm trying to think of what it's actually called there. But yeah, with Sleepy Hollow and all that, and then Frontierland's right there. And it's like there's no break. It just boom, you're
yeah,
there.
you're just there, yeah, yeah,
Yeah. But so yeah, I'd say, and then also know what restaurants you're going to. Everybody's done little YouTube things on the restaurants and kind of figure out what it is. We went to a Mexican pavilion and we didn't understand half the food on the menu,
yeah,
because it's not Tex-Mex, it's not nachos and fajitas and stuff like that. It's
yeah.
actually kind of real Mexican food. Um, I don't know what those tortillas were, corn of some
Well, I
kind.
have no idea. They were green. I mean, like what?
They're green and
They were
kind of,
greenish. Yeah,
yeah, and floppy, and they weren't very good.
yeah.
But and
See, I
that's
and I personally, I think that's a mistake on Disney's part. It's another thing that I find in a lot of the parks, like Galaxy's Edge, especially. Um, like I say this all the time, and I don't think places pay attention to what people actually want when it comes to food and drink and stuff. I mean, drinks are pretty easy. It's not that a lot of times they don't mess that stuff up. But food wise, if you go into any place in the world, okay, like I mean, when I went to Japan, it was the same way. Okay, people tended to buy, Italy, it was the same way, and here in the United States, it's the same way. People will buy pizza of whatever form you have in your country. People will buy sandwiches and cheeseburgers and stuff like that.
mhm.
And the lines for those places will be 100 people long. But when you've got something like go into any food court in the United States at any mall or any situation that has a food court, if there's a cheeseburger place, you will see a line that's twice as long, 3 times as long as any other restaurant in the place. If they have
Yeah,
a pizza place that has slices of pizza, the line will be 2 to 3, 4 times as long as any other place, except for the cheeseburger place. You will see the line for cheeseburgers and for pizza longer than anything else. Yeah, you'll find a Asian chow section or restaurant, but there'll be 2 people in line. There'll be 40 people in line at the cheeseburger place, 100 people at the pizza place, 2 people at the Mediterranean salad bar place. There'll be like 3 people at the Asian place. There'll be like, you know what I mean? So
yeah,
I always say, like, it's fine to have a themed restaurant like in Galaxy's Edge, okay? All the food is themed in Galaxy's Edge, but it's themed to the point that you don't want to eat any of it. Like, and if you try it, you might go, well, I'm going to try that once, but it's so awful. It's even the popcorn. They spray it with purple and blue stuff, and they put some weird spices on the popcorn. So you try it once, eat it, and go, I'm never eating this again. This is
Yeah.
terrible. It could have
Yeah.
been buttered popcorn, just sprayed like food color the butter purple so that it looks like purple popcorn. But have it butter popcorn. That's what everybody wants, or kettle corn. You know what
Well,
I
and you
mean?
know
Nobody wants a weird.
that kettle corn, that corn, a popcorn that's in Galaxy's Edge. We on Monday we went with a friend and his wife and two kids, and she was like, "I want that one because it's she'd seen it on Bad Batch, and so she wanted the purple and the red and all that."
Yeah.
And her dad was like, "Are you sure?" Yes. So they got one, and you're right. She took like
Was
5 pieces, ate it, and was like, "Ooh, yuck."
Yeah, it's awful. Yeah.
Because it was some sort of weird Fruit Loops flavor
Yeah,
with
it's terrible.
with chili
Yeah.
powder on it,
Yeah.
and so that got thrown away. That
Yep.
was a waste. And then we went over to Toy Story Land, and they don't serve hamburgers in Toy Story Land.
What do they
So
serve over there?
it's
I've never
Woody's
eaten there
Roundup,
yet. I've
like
never eaten there yet.
it's a grilled cheese place. And they've got
Okay.
a good grilled cheese with brisket and stuff like that. But they don't just have a cheeseburger. And she's 9, so she's like, that's what I want. We had to go all the way over to Indiana Jones
You
to
do,
get a
yes.
hamburger.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
I was like, well, that's kind of weird. And then, another weird place is Dino Land in Animal Kingdom.
Uh-huh.
And it's set up like a Route 66, like not a state fair, but like a county fair looking thing. And it's got places you can win stuff and things like that. But they have no funnel cakes, no hot dogs, no corn dogs.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
That's exactly what that should be.
Yeah.
If you're going to make a 1960s ish American state fair looking thing, you need to have state fair food.
Yeah.
And they didn't, and it was
Elephant ears, they should have, pretzels.
Yeah, you should have all that kind of weird stuff. I'm not saying you need fried Twinkies and all that kind of stuff. You don't need to go 100% Texan on them, but
but I personally
hey,
think that
Ron.
like that Mexican restaurant that we went to, Chris,
Yeah.
like they can have the stuff they had on the menu, okay? Be authentic Mexican, whatever you want. But there should also be like I asked the guy, so do you have a cheese quesadilla? He's like, no. Like they don't have even just a cheese quesadilla. Like how can you not have that at a
Which
Mexican
obviously
restaurant?
kids are going to want.
Yes, kids are going to want that. They should have just regular tortillas with meat, cheese, and vegetables. They didn't have that. Like, why not? They had meat, they had cheese, they had vegetables. Why not just add that to the menu as that combination?
Well, weirdly, almost nothing they made came with cheese.
Yeah, barely anything, but a few things did. But it's like if you have this stuff in your kitchen, then you should be expanding your dinner repertoire to include simple things that common people are going to want. And that's my point with it. Like, and in Galaxy's Edge, like I'm totally fine. They should have had a hot dog. They should have had a cheeseburger. They should have had a slice of pepperoni pizza, but they can name it something different. They could just name it like, I don't know, space meat, that's a hot dog, or you know what I mean? Like this cheeseburger could have been like, grilled womp rat on whatever,
Exactly.
you know what I mean? Like, and just have it funny names. But instead they went and they got some gourmet chef to create these weird dishes. And one of them is essentially a hot dog, but it's on like a pita bread thing. And then they don't fold it up. They lay it flat and cut the hot dog and lay it open like it's filleted or something, in 2 or 3 lines. And then they put like all these weird sauces and like lettuce and onions and peppers and other weird stuff on top of it. And it's like, who eats a hot dog with lettuce? Nobody. So why would, and then they sprinkle like Thousand Island dressing on it, and it's like, who eats a hot dog with Thousand Island dressing? Nobody.
Yeah.
You
Kids
know
are
what I
going to look
mean?
at that and be confused.
Yeah.
So then you have to
So,
order it without everything. And man, if you special order something,
oh,
holy smoke.
it takes forever. Yeah.
And the mobile ordering does not work very well.
No, I did that the last time I was there. I did the mobile order because the girl at the thing said you wouldn't wait as long. But when you walk up, you do the mobile order as you're walking towards the restaurant, and you know where you're going to go.
Mm-hmm.
You looked ahead of time. You're like, well, I'm going to eat over there. I'll order while I'm walking. And then when you get there, it has you sort of like, I'm here. You check a button or something. But then I'm watching the line of the people who just came up and ordered and paid. They ordered, paid, and then they walk over and get their food and walk away. I'm still standing there. And I'm like,
Well, that happened to us at Woody's Roundup.
I mobile ordered. I should have my food before that guy. You should have been cooking it while I was walking. And they're like, oh no, we don't cook it till you check you're here. And it's like, well, then it's no different than if I had stood in that line. Like, I was like, this makes no sense, you know?
Well, at the Woody's Roundup where we had lunch, which was really good. I did like it a lot. They had 6 windows for mobile ordering, 1 window for walk up. And when we went to do the mobile order, it gave us a return time 2 hours later.
Jeez.
And the cast member was like, just don't. And they were just standing there saying, just don't even bother. Just go over there. It's like a 10-minute wait, 15 at most. Just go over there. Stop using the mobile ordering. Because so many people have been told that they need to mobile order that now everybody is mobile ordering, and it's just caused a reverse of the issue they tried to fix.
Yeah.
Hey, KT, how you doing?
Hey, JT.
You know, and it's and food is a weird thing. And I might get into this in a little while, but you have to remember to eat, which is a weird thing to have to say.
Yes.
But we'd go all day, and then it would be like, you know, because after our deal with the Mexican place, and then we had an Italian place that was pretty good, but it kind of threw Mom's stomach off. I canceled all my reservations for the rest of the week. So then we were kind of loose. Also, making reservations can mess your day up.
Oh, yeah.
Because they expect you to be there, and if you're not there, they charge you $10 per person for that reservation.
Yeah, and like we found out, you can't really get there early either. You got to get there pretty much at the exact time they slotted you here, or you picked whatever. Yeah,
and you know, you don't feel like you could stay there for a whole lot of time because there's somebody else who needs that table.
Yeah,
and so reservations are a weird thing. But then we found that we were forgetting to eat completely.
Yeah,
not drink.
I have done the same thing. There are days where, like now, I carry that water bottle. I think you saw me with the water bottle because I can put it in my back pocket and have a drink while I'm walking around. Because there were a couple times when I was there where I did the same thing. It'd suddenly be 5 o'clock, and I'm like, did I even eat anything today? Have I even drank anything? I just been going from ride to ride, attraction to attraction, you know, doing these things. And some of the time you're in line, you can't do anything while you're in line. So it's like, wow, I think, you know, no wonder I'm feeling a little off because I haven't eaten or drank anything since like 7 a.m, you know?
Yeah. Because you know, and that's another thing, you know, it's all timing.
Yeah.
And timing is everything at Disney, because if you're taking their transportation, you need to add at least 45 minutes each way to your time. Even if you're taking something like the Skyliner. Now, I bet you that the monorail still runs fairly smoothly, so you don't have to worry about that. But if you're taking a Disney bus, it can take you up to an hour to get to the park.
Yeah.
And if you're trying to rope drop, you're going to miss that. And if the Skyliner is nice, but again, if you have a handicapped person, they basically take up one Skyliner. And so they do, I asked about it, and it's a 5-to-1 or an 8-to-1 ratio. So there's a timer on their little thing that says when they can move that person and get the next handicapped person moving.
Gotcha.
And if it's not very busy, they do 5 normal Skyliners to 1 handicap. And if it's a park close or something or opening, they'll do 8-to-1. So it can actually seem like you're sitting there for quite a while waiting to get on. Basically, if you're taking a handicapped person with you, you need to add time to everything you do.
Yeah.
Now they've done an incredible job. My mom is a horrible driver, but
It
she
was
did
funny,
really,
man. I can attest to that. It was funny. She sometimes was just like, read your, and
yeah,
going where she wants to go. And you're like, whoa.
yeah. And, well, because she wouldn't, it goes from turtle to rabbit, and
Yeah,
she'd
I
keep it
guess
in
so.
the middle,
Yeah.
and then she'd forget because she has a straightaway, and just little old lady from Pasadena out there. But she did pretty well getting through the stores, and there's quite a lot
Yeah.
of space in the stores. That was what I was most afraid of, is bumping into something like that. But and whether or not you want to use lightning lane is another thing to save you time. I would say it's very important to use on certain rides like Rise of
Yeah.
Resistance or Smuggler's Run,
Yep.
Haunted Mansion, maybe. For some ungodly reason, you can't use it on Peter Pan's Flight because it's still the most popular ride in the park. I don't
Really?
get that. I
Huh.
don't understand why that ride is so popular. I like it. It's always got a huge line. But if time is what's super important to you, then I would use that lightning lane option randomly. Now, if you
Yeah.
have somebody who's disabled with you, you can get a disabled pass that kind of gives you a return time, but that's kind of like having a reservation, and it slows you down from what you're doing the rest of your day. So if it
Yeah. You
says,
kind
okay,
of
you
have
need
to,
to
like,
come back.
like we were trying to do the Ratatouille thing.
Mhm.
And even though we got a time slot, it ate up most of our evening. Once we got done eating at the Mexican restaurant, from then on, it was all like we're concerned about Ratatouille. So we were
Yeah,
trying to just fit in like the time so we could get into that Ratatouille ride, and it sort of ate up our whole evening
yeah.
just getting on that one ride.
Well, and then if you take old people, they will not understand the virtual queue system.
That too. Yep, yep.
Yeah. And so that was a fight me and John had, because when we got the time for 7 o'clock initially, they both
Well,
thought that that was a set time.
yes.
And
We came
I
up with that time because we were estimating based on
yeah,
time. It's
and
not like Disney said come back at 7.
yeah,
It
the
said
the park thing actually said come back at 7:15,
okay.
and then it kept moving because they had a breakdown, and then for spacing. So eventually we got there, and in at 8. But of course, you can't explain. But I thought we said we're going at 7. Well, it's not a
Estimate.
real line. We're not in a real line, and it's hard to explain to them. But you're right. From we had a dinner reservation at 4:30, so we did what we could to get over there, and then once we ate, we worked our way across.
Yeah.
And so we stopped every so often, and what got annoying, it was getting over there and being told, oh no, now it's going to be a little while longer, and then we had to figure out something to do for that next 45 minutes or an hour.
Yeah.
So then we backtracked again, and then came back again, and then backtracked a little bit,
Yeah.
and you know we
But I'm
never even
glad
got into.
but I am glad we found that Japanese store though, because I got to say I have not been in the gift shop that's in Japan, in the world on Epcot, the world showcase of
Yeah,
Epcot. And I got to say, like, I would have bought half of the items in that store if I had the money. There
yeah,
was so much stuff in there that was so cool and so much fun that you can't find anywhere else. Like, the store is run by, must be a Japanese company, and they're able to import a lot of stuff from Japan and things. So there's stuff in that store in the Japan showcase thing that you're not going to find anywhere here in the United States,
mhm.
and that's what I loved about it, was some of that stuff. I mean, it was fantastic.
Well, that's why I like most about Epcot is Epcot's not the greatest thing in the world, especially at the moment when 60% of it is walls. But I love the World Showcase because not only do you do have restaurants that serve native food, which is great, but you have stores that sell stuff from there that you would never see before.
Yeah.
I'm never going to get to Norway, you know. I doubt I'll ever get to Italy. I've been to France and England and stuff like that, but I'm not going to go to China or Japan. So it's cool to see stuff from there,
Yeah.
and talk. They're starting to get representatives back from the countries, host countries, and stuff. So hey, John.
Hey, John.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Canada. That's in Fantasyland.
No, they didn't have Canada Land.
No,
Sorry.
there's no Canada. What's funny is we drove past Canada like 4 times and never even got in there. It's funny because I've never have done that Canada ride. It's kind of like Soarin', I think.
Is it?
But I never have gotten over to that yet. But there is quite a lot of Canada stuff, and of course, there's maple syrup flavored popcorn.
Right? Yeah,
The national dish, and lots of moose and hockey stuff. It seems to be what Canada has contributed. There's not enough Terrence and Phillips stuff. There should be.
Well, there's Bob and Doug McKenzie sitting out front.
There is.
Yeah, they're just like, hey, what's up, eh? I got a little mousy in my beer, eh?
But timing for, you need to figure out, how are you going to get to the fireworks? When are you going to plant yourself?
Yeah.
Because you need to be at the fireworks at least an hour, if not more, before they start to get a good seat for them.
Yeah.
Or you won't see anything. And if
how did that work out for you? Because I was beat by the time the fireworks were going to start, so I left them to it, and I went back.
Not so hot. We found a decent spot that it was kind of in front, right? Because it goes like this and then comes back around, and that's where you enter the World Showcase. We kind of were parked there. And we could see the fireworks okay, but then people kind of walked in and around, and Mom couldn't see the show on the screens very well.
Screens,
so she wasn't too hyped about that. She really liked the Magic Kingdom ones. And then Lee didn't understand the show and hated it. And I was like, but it's showing. The new show at Epcot is all music based. It's also IP based for Disney. And it's basically showing how music brings the world together. And it's set up so that you hear either the American version of the song. Let's take I Can Go the Distance from Hercules. So you'll hear that bit of the song in English, and then it'll cut into Greek.
Mm-hmm.
And it does this for every song. Every country has its own song. So Coco is from Mexico, and Japan has
Mulan.
Mulan, and China has Mulan, and France is, of course, Beauty and the Beast and Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Okay.
America is Princess and the Pea, or Princess and the Frog. Sorry, drunk.
Yep. Okay.
And so I really liked that because I like hearing the soundtracks in different languages.
And it was they would do it half English, half another language. Yeah.
Yeah, with all these great effects and everything, and Lee just did not get it. Why? First of all, he doesn't like half those movies because they're modern. I'm like, yeah, but they've done they've done Snow White and Alice in Wonderland and whatever for decades now. This is the stuff kids like. Kids love Coco. Kids love Brave. Kids love, I love that they're finally getting to Princess and the Frog and really enjoying the movie. I liked that movie. I thought it was pretty cool, but a lot of people didn't go see it. I don't know why, if it was just a dull time or something, but I love that it's coming back and finally getting its own again. But yeah, we didn't get that great of a seat. And then they didn't like that we had to go backtrack to get back.
Of course.
To the Skyliner. I was like,
and if you're leaving when everybody else is leaving, there's a whole crowd of people trying to get out. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the other thing. Don't leave when the park closes.
Yeah.
They tell you that once the fireworks are over at either Epcot or Magic Kingdom, people will start pouring out. Well, you don't have to leave, and you don't have to go to the Emporium. That is another incredible mistake at Magic Kingdom. Do not go to the Emporium when the fireworks end, because everybody else is trying to buy something.
Yes.
And that's just horrible. What you need to do is putter off. The park really doesn't close till 9 for the Magic Kingdom. Fireworks are at 8. Park closes at 9. Go try and get one more ride in. By the time you get out of your ride, if you're in line, they will not kick you out.
Yeah.
And so by the time you get out, everybody will have been gone. It'll be much easier to get out of the park and get onto whatever mode of transport you're using and get out. So,
And if all else fails, the buses are the last thing to stop. So
yeah,
even if you're coming out of there like 10 after 9 or something, and they've closed the Skyliner, well, the buses are still going till like 10 o'clock. So you got another hour past the park closing to at least get on a bus if there's no other way to get out of there,
Yeah, and sometimes they run even longer because they do specialty
That's
shows.
True. Yeah, stuff. Yeah, that's true.
Oddly Geek strong, there is in fact some decent Star Wars pins in Canada. The pins, of course, are the backbone of
He's talking about Left Coast Graphics stuff.
Yeah, and I did buy some. But what I liked about them is that every land had slightly different pins. They all had the same stuff, but then everyone would have like 10 different ones.
Yeah, there's land specific pins, but then sometimes they're with your favorite characters.
Yeah,
somehow, like
in Animal Kingdom, I found all the Disney Afternoon ones.
That's right.
Weren't anywhere else. And then in Hollywood Studios, there were a whole bunch of villain ones that weren't anywhere else. And Disney Land, or Magic Kingdom, had a whole bunch of Fab Five stuff.
Yeah.
So it was cool to see different stuff along with, the Epcot's doing their Festival of Holidays, whatever thing. So there were exclusive pins for that. But you know what? Honestly, Left Coast, I prefer your pins. The packaging's better.
We were joking about that, Left Coast.
I really do.
It's true, all of it.
It's all true.
The one thing that I've thought about doing one of these times is you may have noticed in various locations around all the parks, there are pennies you can squish. And I think it's like
you have to look for those machines.
You do, yes. But if you go to one of the main hubs, like it could even be the guest services sections and stuff, and go to like the big main gift shop at each place, you can ask for a binder, and they'll give you a binder. And I think the binder's free. I don't think you have to pay for this thing. Because I asked some families who were doing it with their kids, and they were like, no, you just go up there and ask for a binder. And then every time you go to a place, pay for she goes, we do the $3 one, and you can get like 4 or 5, 6 maybe flattened ones at each station. And she said what's really neat is like there's a page for Magic Kingdom, a page for Epcot, a page for Animal Kingdom, and a page for Hollywood Studios. And they have a spot in the book for every single. It's like a cardboard book, and you can pop in the pennies in the little oval slots. And it'll have them all named for every one you can find. So the book will help you know which ones you're looking for also. So while you're in the park that day, you can look around and find, okay, I found all of them, but I'm missing these ones. So it must be one station I missed somewhere, and then you can find it. But it's like, to me, it's not a bad souvenir, because I think they were saying between the 4 parks and all the spaces they went, it cost them like $45 to fill the thing.
Yeah.
And that's, like 90 or so pennies that are in there squished. It's like a collection of about 90, and each one has a different picture on it, So I thought that's not a bad souvenir for the price, and you have like a treasure hunt as you're doing it. So it's kind of a fun activity. Yeah. Especially, I think it would be fun with kids,
Well, another thing to think of is needs versus wants. Disney is all about I
Making
want
you
this, I
want
want
everything.
that.
Yes.
Yeah, and you need to decide what you need to do as opposed to what you want to do, because you will not be able to do the park in a day. You cannot.
Oh no, you can't. You can
So
5 or
you need
6
to
rides.
decide what 4, maybe 5 things you want to do in the park in a day. Because
Yeah.
each one, if you're not using lightning lanes or whatever, are going to take you about an hour in line for the ride and get off.
Yeah.
Now you can get some, spectacular ones. Like we went up to the Pirates of the Caribbean, and there was this huge line. We're like, what is this? Oh man, what's the time going to be? We went up to the cast member, and he's like, oh yeah, there's no line. We're like, what are all these people doing? He said, I don't know. I keep telling them to break it up, but there's some sort of tour group, and they're just all together. So we basically walked on to Pirates of the Caribbean. But then by the time we got out, it had a 45-minute wait time.
Yeah.
And so you can never really tell. And it's all about timing to what you want to do and what needs to be done. Like I didn't get to go on the Jungle Cruise, or the Jingle Cruise as it is now. I wanted to, but we didn't have time for that. I did get on It's a Small World, of course, because you can't not do it. I got on the Haunted Mansion 4 times.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah.
And that was my choice. My
Yeah.
choice of taking my time to do that, as opposed to, going to see the Country Bear Jamboree or something, which was hard to get to. But that's the same thing for shopping. There's a lot of neat-ish stuff to buy.
Yeah.
And
a lot of niche stores that are nice just to look at. But if you go through and you're looking at these things, even if you're like, I want to look at all this stuff because this is an expensive store, I just want to see what they have, but I know I'm not buying anything. You go through and all of a sudden an hour has gone by and you're like, oh crap, now I'm not going to make that ride.
And I went into Memento Mori, which is the Haunted Mansion shop.
Yeah.
I didn't buy anything in there.
It's super small, and
it's super small. They
have
don't
a
really
lot right now.
Yeah, there's nothing really good in there. And of course, I'm a fat guy, and they don't have a size, a 3X or a 4X that I can
for
wear.
the shirts. Yeah, no.
Which, Disney, being at your parks for a week, I think the Hefty Plus is an area you might need to look into to let people buy.
Half the people are Hefty Plus.
Half the people are my size or slightly smaller. And they were all like, well, can I get this and this? They were even to find 2X stuff was getting hard.
Yeah, it's difficult.
And so, I hear people say, do you have a 3X? And then the poor cast member would have to run to try and find something. And also, Disney isn't for guys. They have Star Wars and they have Marvel, that there are decent t-shirts and stuff for guys. But the Emporium and stuff is basically all princess, all girl stuff,
or couples, or it's a lot of it's
it's all couples. Yeah.
Because they have themed shirts in a lot of spots. They have themed shirts. Even the Star Wars area has Han and Leia saying "I love you, I know," and you're supposed to wear them together with your spouse or whoever. And then there's like what you were saying. It says, he's my foolish mortal, and then the other guy's shirt says she's my foolish mortal. So you're supposed to wear them together. And
the only thing they really had I was going to buy was a baseball cap that said Ghost Host, but I don't wear hats, and they don't have a hat big enough for my head, so it doesn't fit right. The Indiana Jones shop is closed.
Oh yeah.
It's the 40th anniversary. Open the Indiana Jones store. The Muppets.
They're going to close. Yeah, the Muppets one is closed. That was a big one. Yeah.
Only one out of the 3 Christmas stores are open, and it had nothing. It was wiped clean. And I was talking to some cast members, and they said, well, they got so burned last year on everything they ordered for 2019 and 2020, and then it was shut down
because they couldn't get a lot of people in.
They ordered a heck of a lot less this year, and so she thinks next year is going to be a big year for merchandise again. But there was a really ugly action figure set for Indy. There's this horrible looking figure
That
and
6-inch or 7-inch figure looks terrible, doesn't he? His
it's
face is all
awful.
weird.
Oh,
It looks like someone hit him with a brick.
yeah, it does. And it's like, I almost bought it just because it was an Indiana Jones thing. And I'm like, no, you get none of my money.
Yeah.
They had none of those new Black Series sets.
Really?
Yeah, not one of them. Because I looked, because I was going to get one as a surprise for Rum. And they didn't have any of them. They did have the Lando Black Series wave, which 90% of the shelves was Lando.
Yeah.
Same with the vintage collection. They had tons of Lando, nobody else.
Yeah. There was one shop I remember when I was there. They had a whole 20 pegs, and it was all Lando.
Yeah. I know they don't really clearance things. They just pack them up and send them to the outlet stores.
Yeah.
It might be time to send Lando to the outlet stores. But there wasn't a lot to, from my point of view, there wasn't a lot to buy. They don't really carry toy stuff anymore. They don't carry even the stuff like Hot Wheels and there's Star Wars or Mickey Mouse Hot Wheels.
Yeah, I don't know where that is, if you could ever get it. Yeah.
They had 2 Funkos, Mickey on a Skyliner, and they had Hondo. How many hundreds of Disney Pops are there at the moment? And they can't take a 4 to 8 foot section and just make that?
Even in Galaxy's Edge, even at the Star Tours shop or the droid factory shop, did you go in those?
I did, and they had the droid.
The last time I was there, they had a lot of toys and Funko and stuff in those shops.
No, almost all gone. Lots of
wow.
Lots of the park exclusive stuff, the Build-A-Droid set and the little 4-pack of droids. They did have that.
Okay.
Which, they were nice, but I wasn't going to spend, $50 for 4 figures.
No, yeah.
And then need to buy the other thing that goes with it. And
they didn't. And the last time I was there, they didn't actually have the Build-A-Droid bins set up anymore, where you can. It's just like a bunch of legs and heads, and you build your own droid and stick it in a little packaging they give you at the end of the line. They didn't have that anymore, and I was like, "What the heck's going on?" Where every time I come, I used to build myself 1 or 2 droids, and that was part of the fun. And I was like, last time I was there, I was like, "Where the heck is it? Why is it gone?" Isn't that the most perfect thing? That should be at the Droid Factory shop. Why isn't it there? It's just a weird.
And I did forget to buy. They had that Christmas R5 unit, and I forgot to go back and buy it.
I would have got that. I didn't know it was still there.
It's only in the shop on Hollywood Boulevard. It's not even in the Star Tours shop.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, it was weird stuff. Like they had this cool little Ewok, this Wicket, and it was only on Hollywood Boulevard.
Yes, those stuffed animal ones. Yeah.
And the all the merchandising was very weird.
It was the same with Kermit. You can only get Kermit at that store too. And I went to Magic Kingdom the next day or something, and I was like, all right, before I leave, I'm going to get that Kermit. And they were like, oh no, you have to go back to Hollywood Studio. You can only get it over there in that one store. And I'm like, it's a stuffed animal. Why is he only at the one store? It was funny.
Yeah, a lot of disrespect for Indy over there. Well, and they did have a little bit of Indiana Jones stuff at Pirates of the Caribbean and a little bit in Animal Kingdom. Mm-hmm. But it was all the same stuff. It was the same 6 items. I have a friend who collects, I don't know what these things are called, Umos or something like that. It starts with a U.
Yeah, the little stuffed guys that you can dress up.
Yeah. And she wanted me to get her the Christmas outfits. I guess there's Christmas outfits for them. They didn't have any of them. And she's got 10 or more of these things. They only had 3 to buy.
Wow.
And 4 outfits.
Yeah.
And then that 4 foot or 8 foot section just duplicated itself around the park.
Yep.
And it was,
See, even when I was there and bought Salacious George and I bought one of those outfits is what he wears. It fit the Salacious Crumb talking doll thing. And when I picked out that outfit, there was 10 or 12 to choose from. So if now they're down to just 3 outfits or something, 3 or 4, that's just
Yeah, I don't
saying
know because
that's
they
saying how much they've been selling of all their products, that the stores are getting scarce this time of year.
yeah. And well, one of the cast members said, yeah, not only is it Christmas, so it's selling well, but she said a lot of that is just staying online.
Wow.
And it's not coming to the parks. And now that there are no Disney stores, the website is going through the roof.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I was disappointed. I'll show you what I bought. I didn't buy a lot.
I bought this.
Yeah. You know what is hilarious is almost everything we bought, including that right there, could have been bought at the art and animation gift shop. I never needed to leave my
That's
hotel.
where I got it. Was at the gift shop at my
Yeah,
hotel.
yeah.
Yeah. I bought it at the gift shop at the hotel, threw it in the trunk of the car.
So I
Oh,
got Tailspin.
Tailspin. Yes, I love
I was happy
Tailspin.
with that. I don't even collect pins, but there are certain ones I will buy.
Oh, the Robin Hood, yeah.
Robin Hood, Little John.
Hootenanny, hootenanny,
The Constance. I got this at the Haunted Mansion.
Oh, cool. Wow. Darkwing Duck. Yes. I didn't see some of these pins. This is great.
Yeah, like I said, the Animal Kingdom's where I found the afternoon ones.
Ooh, that's a cool
the
one.
Hatbox Ghost.
Yeah. Little hat on his head in a chain there. Ghost host. Nice.
The Ghost host. Gummy bears.
Gummy bears bouncing here and there and everywhere.
I got this for my mom. I haven't given it to her yet. She loves Pooh Bear.
Ooh, hi, Pooh.
Hey, Pooh. Thanks for noticing me. Black hole stuff.
Wow.
Yeah. Had
Vincent.
to buy that. That's Bob, right?
No, Vincent. Bob's the broken one.
Bob's the broken one. And then Mad Madam Mim.
Yeah, Madam Mim.
And Squeaker Squeak.
Now, were any of these in the deal things where you get like 3 for a price, or did you have to buy most of these individually?
No, I don't do blind boxes. I'm not very good with them. Of course,
I mean at some stores it's like choose any 3. Like when I got the Star Wars ones when I was there the last time, like in October or whatever it was, they had choose 3 for one. Like each of them were like,
no, they weren't on sale.
$12 or something like that. But so you're like, okay, well, the 2 of them are cost me $24 or whatever, and then it's like, but if you buy 3 of them, it's $30.
Oh,
so you're like, oh, well, I might as well buy 3 because I'm only going to be spending $6 more, and I get 3 instead of just 2.
I would have bought several more if they had done that.
Okay. They had a thing like it was like this wall only, any 3 for $30, and I got 3 Star Wars pins that way.
I mean, it was bedlam in the gift shops.
Yeah.
At night.
It was really busy when Chris and I met up and were there. Busier than I have ever seen it. Like most of the time when I go to Disney World, I've been there almost 10 times this year. And whenever I have gone, my brother and I, or by myself, whatever, we almost literally walk on to the Skyliner, walk right up and pretty much walk on. If we have to wait, it's 1 or 2 people. You know what I mean? 1 or 2 cars, and then we're on. When I met up with Chris, there was 1,000 people in line.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You had to wait a couple hours. So it was like, it was the busiest I've ever seen it. And maybe that's the holidays and you know what I mean? Like this is the time to go. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, and they finally got to the point where they've opened stuff back up. Like the last day we were there, they finished and now every hotel is open, full. And they don't put any restrictions on it.
Okay. Did they reopen All-Star and all that?
Yeah. So they're opening up all the hotels to try and get some of that out. I like the Black Hole. I know it's a weird movie, but they did have one other shirt for the Black Hole, but all they had was extra small. Which what person wears extra small anyway? Then just make it a kid's thing.
Uh,
Another thing. Hey, it's Florida. Bring sunscreen. Put it on a lot. Bring a hat of some kind,
yeah.
or you will burn your head.
Hats are the one I like because if I take my hat off, this will burn. So I either
Yeah.
have to put a lot of sunscreen on it or wear the hat. Yeah.
Well, and I don't wear hats because I generally can't find any that fit me well, but I did find kind of like a Gilligan style hat, but I forgot it. And so then I was going to buy a new hat when I was there, but I'm not paying $40 for a hat.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, I've got burned right about here and then back here. Oh man, it bad. If you can,
it's easily $26 on average for like a baseball cap type one, like the Star Wars one I wear, or the Yoda one I got, and
yeah,
then those floppy hats or anything else, or if it's got special like 50th anniversary embroidery and all this stuff on it, yeah, 50, $60. You know, you can
yeah.
go all the way up. It's crazy.
Well, and if you're taking someone of frailer constitution or a lady, make sure they bring a light jacket,
Yeah,
especially in December.
and especially in the
I
evening,
wasn't cold.
it can get cold in the evening. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it was mid 50s in the evenings, and it that's not cold for me, but my mom got real cold. And so, we spent almost 40 minutes just going around the Emporium trying to find some sort of sweatshirt or something
And
she
that's
could wear.
difficult. Yeah. Because a
Yeah.
lot of them are pullovers. Like I was looking for one the night that I was walking around with Chris. There was actually a spot where I was like, I wish I had brought my zip up hoodie and put it on because
Mm-hmm.
I was a little cold, and I was like, when we went in that Japanese shop, and I actually looked for one. If they had a zip up hoodie, I would have bought it. But everything they had was a pullover hoodie, and I don't like pullover hoodies. I want the zipper. I want it to be open in the front and just keep my arms warm. I don't need my
Yeah.
chest to be warm. It's just
Well,
my
yeah,
arms.
that seems to be the new thing that they don't do zippers anymore.
Yeah, what's
That's
wrong
all
with
mom wants
zippers?
is a zip up hoodie that she can wear that's
Yeah.
light enough to keep her arms warm. Couldn't find it anywhere. And then even if you did, it only zips down to here.
Yeah, what's that deal too? Yeah.
Make it easier
Yeah.
to get over your head, I guess. I don't really have. I don't think you can see them.
They're
the farmer's
lower,
tan.
the lower part's tanner than the
Yeah,
top. Yeah.
I got a little bit of a farmer's tan going. That's about it.
Mine's the
And
same
he lives
way.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mine's the same way.
but yeah, I would definitely recommend. And it's if you're a heftier guy going, take twice as many shirts as you think you'll need.
Yeah, you'll sweat them to death, and you
You'll
can't
sweat
use them
them to
again.
death.
Yeah.
And but it was we had a great time. And hey, sleepy.
Hey, sleeping. Like when I'm there on my own, especially in the warmer period, like this time it didn't bother me so much spending the whole day. But like even back in October when my brother and I went, it got to like 1 or 2 o'clock and we were sweating, just dripping with sweat. So we ended up going back, but this is also when you could just walk on the gondola, go right back to your hotel in an instant.
Yeah.
We went back to the hotel, got lunch over there, would go into the hotel, our room, have a shower, change clothes, at least change our shirts, because that was so much sweat. You wanted a new shirt, and then go back out at 3 o'clock and spend the whole evening and the rest of the day in there. So we would take a break from like 1 to 3 during that hot period and go back to the hotel, have a shower, clean up, change your shirt.
Mm-hmm.
And that's part of the advantage of having a resort in the park. So you can just hop back, have a shower in the middle of the day, change your shirt, change your clothes, get something to eat, and then go back. But I didn't need it as much in December when I was there with you because it just wasn't as hot. I wasn't sweating, but
yeah,
as much,
I really liked staying on site, and I probably always will. There were quite a few people who were very mad, and this one guy already canceled his future plan in April and moved all his stuff to Universal because he's so mad at how this trip went for him and his family.
Wow.
They go twice a year, and they're not going. They're not even going to go to Disney this time. They're going to spend the whole trip at Universal and stuff. You missed it. I did the pins. That's all I bought. It was like 10 pins.
Well, I'll open the Sandcrawler.
John's opening the Sandcrawler.
So this Sandcrawler, in my opinion, is awesome. I had been seeing it a number of times. It comes with a Jawa and a Gonk droid in there. It's hard to see, but they're in there. And I had been seeing this for about a year, maybe 2 years on the shelves. And I know it's going to disappear as soon as they're gone. I think this is something that's going to disappear. And I finally pulled the trigger and bought it. And I can't wait to get this thing open and check it out.
I asked a cast member about that because I saw them all, and I was like, man, I could have that shipped home, I guess. But I had to get my car fixed. So that was another reason I didn't buy a lot of stuff. I really wanted to rescue a monkey lizard, but I couldn't. I ended up with a $1,400 car bill when I came home.
Jeez,
so,
wow.
Yeah, so that ate up all my money. But I asked a cast member about that, and she said that they've been told that's going to get a little bit of a new paint job, and it's going to be repackaged in Mandalorian stuff with an off-world Jawa with the egg.
That makes sense. That would make sense too. Just repackage it, repaint it, and have it a new thing. Yeah. This thing has lights and sounds, supposedly.
Well, while you're doing that, I will talk about the part that I loved the best, which was Galaxy's Edge. So, and my mom loved that too. Actually, now Hollywood Studios is slowly becoming her favorite park.
Yeah.
And the detail they put into Galaxy's Edge is really great. I enjoyed both rides. Rise of the Resistance, I really liked it. We didn't get to spend as much time in the line and stuff as I would like to have. I would have liked to have seen the Stormtrooper area a little better. And then
there's props and there's stuff that you can see as you go through the line. But
yeah.
And
so I wish I could have spent some more time there. But I did like the ride a lot. It was pretty cool. It did not break down, which,
that's good.
A good thing. I liked Smuggler's Run was fun. We went on with people who did not understand what the ride was. They were probably in their early 80s. And one was flying and kept trying to steer by using the hyperdrive. And the other was a gunner who just gave up pretty quickly. So we actually got negative points.
Wow, negative.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. But seeing the Falcon was pretty cool. I wish I could have done the lightsaber thing, but again, I didn't have the money. I had to cancel that reservation. I did get a thermal detonator Coke.
Good.
And
you
so
still got it, right? You still got it, right? Yeah.
Yeah, when I took them through the airport, I took them out and sat them in the little bin. And there's like, I have these. And he said, oh, yeah, I see those all the time. Do they have anything in them? Nope. Okay, then they're fine.
Yeah, they're when they first came out, they weren't sure what to do with them, but I think they're used to them by now. Yeah.
Yeah, they said they see those in lightsabers all the time, and they just kind of let them go. But yeah, it was. I like the theming to it was really great. I think the one thing they probably didn't need to theme as well as they did was the bathrooms, because they look like a dirty truck stop bathroom.
Yeah,
they have painted. Let's not call them pee stain, but like rust stains around things, and they're painted dirt, and so they look like they haven't been cleaned in weeks. But they have been because it's Disney.
Yeah.
I don't think they needed to take theming that far. I would accept that I went into the bathroom and it's back on Earth or something.
Yeah.
But I loved the droid tracks that were all over the place.
Yeah, you look down on the sidewalks and there's stuff. There's actually animal footprints in some spots too.
Yeah, little cat prints and stuff, and I was very happy with the amount of gonk droids.
Yeah.
Even if there was the atrocity of one of them being tortured by the bathrooms, that was sad. Poor guy. Yes. Telling you, that's what I thought, because I don't know. And then they have weird, if you go into a bar and one of the bathrooms has a trough set up for the urinals. And I hadn't seen a troughed urinal in a long time. And
yeah.
I'm sure there are a lot more shy peers than they think. And it's tall. And the kids are like, how do I do this?
Well, some people have never seen a trough bathroom before. They didn't live in the country.
Yeah. Well, and Ray and
Chewbacca
and Kylo and the Stormtroopers and what's her name from
what's the girl
Rebels?
V whatever her name is, the girl with the purple hair. Did you see her?
Yeah, I was trying to think of what her name is.
Isn't it V or something like VII or something like that?
I don't remember. I try and remember, but I need to rewatch all of Rebels.
Well, I think she's made up for the parks. The one girl.
No, she's from Rebels.
Really?
Yeah.
When? Where?
She's one of the main characters.
No, that's Sabine.
Yeah, that's who it is.
No, there's a girl in a like X-wing pilot suit running around the Galaxy's Edge with purple hair, and that's a character they made up just for Galaxy's Edge.
Oh well, then they should say that more.
She's not actually Sabine. She's a different character.
I'm pretty sure she's supposed to be Sabine.
No. There's a girl. Well, if you saw Sabine, you may have saw Sabine, but there's also a girl that's made up just for the park. And I think her name is VII or something like that. It's like V's V or something like that. Yeah, she's a.
Hey, everything Disney. I follow you guys.
She's a friend of Poe Dameron and stuff. And she's actually in one of the novels because that they wrote about Batuu and Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah. Maybe everything Disney knows it. Who's the Sabine is walking around, I'm sure, but I don't know who the other person is. I didn't see her. I just saw her and Ray together. So.
Yeah, she has purple hair.
Yeah.
And.
Well, she has to be, because of where Batuu is. It has to be something from that era.
Yeah.
It can't be anything outside. It can't be High Republic stuff or anything.
No.
It's got to be whatever time that is, which I would say that hurts.
That is one mistake that they did. In my opinion, a Star Wars park should be all eras. Okay. Yeah. So what I think they should have done is they should have. It's sort of like when you go through the park right now, you've sort of got a Resistance side. And then as you go through, there's like a big TIE fighter in a First Order gift shop. So there's sort of like a First Order corner to that, to Batuu. And I was like, why didn't you do this for the whole trilogy? So like when you walk in, it could be like, maybe there's Rise of the Resistance over there, and this is the Resistance side of the park. And then as you get to the middle part, you've got old trilogy stuff going on, like where the Falcon is and stuff. It might be original trilogy, and that gift shop with Doc Ondar's gift shop or something could be old trilogy sort of themed. And then when you get to the end of the park, it could be prequels, Yeah. And why not have characters walking around from every era and different things? Because I'm also surprised, because like right now, The Mandalorian's so popular, what are they supposed to do? You know what I mean? Like they could have been like, okay, a new corner's opening up, or we've redone this gift shop or this little area, and that's Mandalorian themed, and there'll be a guy there in a Mandalorian costume. You know what I mean? Like they could
Yeah.
have adapted if the park was immersive to the point where it had all three trilogies, every era. They could have altered and changed little bits of it here and there as new stuff comes out for the future, and I think it's stupid of them to lock it in, especially in the sequel trilogy era, with the trilogy that arguably most people can't stand, and it's their least favorite era of Star Wars. It's like, how could you choose a worse theme? You know, like
Yeah.
it's
Well, and of course
and
now they've locked that in because they've locked the hotel to that era too.
they do, yeah, and that's a big mistake. And not even I don't even want to get into that. I mean, you see how many people canceled their reservations after seeing that video?
Yeah.
Yeah. Disney
Well,
put
that's
out
because
a
they've never given us a real good idea of what we were getting for $5,000.
well, they did. The video got taken down immediately. They put
Yeah.
that video out like 5 or 6 days ago. 5 or 6 days ago, they put a video out that showed the interior. It showed what you were going to get in your room, the interior. You can find reaction videos that still have the video in a little square on their reaction. And
Mhm.
Disney took that video down, all the videos down related to the Star Cruiser, like a day or two after they put it up, because once everybody saw what they were getting, they canceled their reservation. Like half the people canceled their reservations
Yeah.
because they
And,
weren't going to
and
pay. They weren't going to pay 4, 5, 6 grand. A family of four would pay 6 grand. And once they saw what they were buying, they were like, "Oh crap! No way! Cancel. That's
well, yeah,
not
and like
worth it."
everything Disney is pointing out, you get basically a day and a half to 2 days, and then you're on your own. You need all new park passes, you need all new hotel
Yeah,
reservations, and that's another couple thousand. No family is going to go down there for 2 days and
yeah.
go to one park
Only
for
people
one
who
day.
live in the state would do just the 2 days. Anyone coming out of state is going to stay another couple days, and they got to pay for another, pardon me, another hotel on top of that,
Yeah,
plus those days at the park. So there, yeah, it's.
I
But
think they're really going to have to figure
it
it out.
really looked atrocious. Like the interior of the place is themed on BB-8. Like there are literally white walls with orange circles on them.
Uh,
Why would someone design a starship to look like a droid? The interior of a starship never looks like R2D2 or C3PO in
yeah,
any of the movies. So they had some crazy designer who was like, let's make it all BB-8 themed, and it's like orange circles on the floor, orange, and it's like, and then the rooms have patterns like BB-8 patterns with the circles and the things, and it's just like, this is stupid. Like, why would you do that? And then they take you into the consoles that they're in the ship where you fly the ship or whatever, pretend you're going to fly it and
uh-huh.
send it into hyperspace. They're the consoles from the Enterprise in the modern in the last movie, and the blue hologram screens that are in Star Trek. So they didn't even, the guy who designed that room got the franchise mixed up. And like half the people online, it's not just me that thinks this. You go look at all the people who've written articles and now written YouTube videos about it, and they're like, this is the Enterprise bridge. This is the Galaxy bridge. They look the same. You put them side by side. They're like, this is a Star Wars bridge, and this is not. You know, like
Yeah.
it doesn't
Well, I
make
get
sense.
maybe it's kind of nice to have a little more future tech in Star Wars because really, look at the Falcon. The Falcon literally hasn't changed in possibly 80 years and
Yeah.
still flies pretty well.
Yeah.
And, you
Well,
get, if, we're playing the Old Republic, well, you get to a point where ship design just isn't going to change anymore.
yeah.
But it's nice
Well,
to see Nabooian type, like clean, but I haven't seen that video yet. But if that just sounds
yeah.
horrible.
And they have a lightsaber training area, but what they did is they have a laser beam. They fill the air with like smoke a little bit, so you can see this purple laser that's sticking out from the wall. And
Mm-hmm.
you're supposed to take this lightsaber that they give you and then flash it to cut the beam. And then the beam will go like off to the right, and you're supposed to cut the beam. But people who were like testing this out, like like journalists and stuff, they're saying that like it it's just not effectual. Like it's just you going boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
It's not fun. It doesn't have the effect they want. You know what I mean? Like
I did that
what
on the Atari 2600. I've got that game
people
behind me.
people were saying what they should have done is given people a VR
Visual
goggle,
Shield. Yeah.
and then because Luke wears a helmet with a shield, so they were like, you could have given him this helmet to put on with a virtual reality thing in it, and then actual laser blasts and things could have come in that you're deflecting
Well,
in the
don't they already
virtual.
have a game like that, don't they?
It's at Disney Springs, yeah.
No, I mean like you can it's
Oh
for
yes, the it's
the
not a
music
Star
one
Wars.
or whatever.
Yeah, it's not a Star
Yeah.
Wars game, but it does have lightsabers and you
Yeah.
deflect.
So you
Yeah,
just
yeah.
augment that.
They could have just
Yeah.
copied that basically. Yeah, but
But
even
I really did enjoy Galaxy's Edge. I think it's well done. I think there are tweaks that could possibly happen going forward, but I think the theming is well done. Everything is spread out well. They do need more and different food. Having one restaurant and one basic, fast serve place is not enough because, I don't know, maybe they, instead of having Mickey bars, they could start selling Mando bars or something. But, yeah, see, everything Disney, they were to sell, they could sell those VR headsets too and make a killing.
yeah.
That would be awesome.
So here's the Jawa.
Nice.
So his arms just go up and down and they do rock like this, but there's no elbow joints, which is kind of weird, and there's no head joint, and he's just got little feet on the bottom. There's no way to move them. So he's really only like 2 POA, but he does have a little gun that comes out of the holster here.
Nice.
And that's pretty neat. So yeah. I guess he holds on to it okay, I don't know.
He's in a Tarantino movie. He's shooting all sideways.
And then there is a gonk droid, and his legs do move. They don't click, but they move.
Yeah.
So he's technically 2 POA also, but not a bad gonk droid actually. I'm not.
That's pretty good.
He's pretty. I'm pretty happy with that droid. And the Jawa can just go in the background with other Jawas that I have. There's so many different ones I've got over the years.
Yeah.
He'll just fit in hanging out with them, in the background.
Yeah.
And then the vehicle itself, oh my gosh, this thing is awesome. I mean, look at that engine parts in the back.
Wow.
The detail is really cool. I like the treads. I think there's wheels on the bottom. The treads look good. I mean, it looks like a sandcrawler. And now it has the elevator here.
Uh-huh. Cool.
So you can put a character on there and it will go back up into the ship. It has a nice clear glass. Can you see there's glass in there?
Yeah.
It's yellowed. And there's a hatch on top to get into it.
Cool.
And there's some control units and different things in there that are painted and colored. So it's not just plain. And then the guys stand up in that big floor area here. They can stand up and use the controls. We've got a hatch on the front here that comes down, and there's a crane in there. And the crane comes out. That's pretty cool. Oh, and it's on a moving little... So not only does the crane come out, but this is on a separate moving part.
Wow.
So...
And this was only $100.
Yeah, well... And if you're a Disney Park pass holder or a resident of Florida, you get 20% off. So I got this for $85. And then there's a big hatch on the side. with a bunch of play features in there. A spot where the elevator comes up is right here, so you can kind of get to your guys. There's a platform here. Oh, this opens up. There's like a little compartment that opens up in here. I don't know if you could see that.
Oh, yeah.
Opens up here. So there's a hidden compartment in there. Oh, neat. So in the corner here, how do I get this to see it? Do you see the railing in the little...
Oh, yeah.
There's like a walkway back in there with a railing around it. And then there's a little jail cell right in here with like a little jail. Oh, how do I... You can't really see the jail cell part. There's like a little like railing or something down there with like bars where a small droid like Astromech might fit behind it, and you could close it and have him behind bars. And then there's another hatch here in the back. Oh, with a second... Oh, no, that's the same hatch. Never mind. I was like, oh, there's another hatch. No, it's the same hatch.
See, Hasbro, this is, you made this, Hasbro. You could clean this up a little bit, scale it up just a wee bit. You could sell this for $200 as a Hasbro, as a HasLab thing, and people would buy this like mad.
I think it's really cool. I'm very happy with this, and
yeah, that's very cool, and it's nice enough to sit next to everything very well.
I'm gonna put it with my vintage figures and put that elevator down, put R2 on it, and set up a whole nother diorama type thing. Very cool.
Yeah, JT, I thought he blinked too. I assume it's just Anthony Daniels' eye or something. It dislodged for a second, but I swear he blinks when he meets up in the Sandcrawler as well.
I can't abide those Jawas. Disgusting creatures.
Oh, and Dino says he thinks the top comes off that Gonk droid. Does it? It's got all his tools and stuff. Cool.
It does come off. How did he know that? That's cool. Wow.
That is cool. That was a cool little set. But that is the kind of thing that's a down thing to me. There were no TIE fighters. There were no X-Wing. Yeah. There's no First Order vehicles that aren't like some sort of weird... They're not for figures.
No, they're like a little die-cast or plastic, like the size of maybe like an action fleet or something.
Yeah, something along those lines. Oh, I did see a new mission fleet guy I hadn't seen before. Tech from Bad Batch has his own minifigure and vehicle. But I didn't see... I forgot to take a picture.
Huh.
But that's the only new thing I saw for Star Wars. Everything else was the same stuff I've seen for months now. But, they don't have like, a Max Rebo band shirt or Visit Hoth. No, I would like some of those travel posters as T-shirts.
Yeah.
And they don't have any of that.
Well, that's what I'm saying, why it's stuck in the sequel era when, like, there should be something for everyone who loves every era of Star Wars. That's kind of what I'm getting at. It should have been all eras, and it's not really.
Well, all that was pre-planned long before they didn't understand what how the sequels were going to be received.
Yeah, I
still think the sequels will gain in popularity, and I did see
they absolutely will. Yes,
kids loved
and
everything to do with Batuu.
They love Rey too. Kids love Rey.
And when Rey came by,
yep.
They loved that, and they saw the Chewbacca, even though he's not to scale. There must not be very many 7'5" people in Florida.
Yes.
But they need to hire some. But I was kind of disappointed in the amount of stuff I couldn't buy. because Batuu is Batuu and it isn't Star Wars, it's just this place.
Yeah. But I have
Although
a feeling that in the future that's going to change at some point. I wouldn't be surprised if we hear some kind of announcement throughout the year of 2022 that says that like I could see like around the Rise of Resistance they're going to leave that X-wing. The Y-wing kind of fits in any era because the A-wing, the A-wing fits in about any era, but that X-wing is definitely painted like sequel stuff. But I could see them leaving that because it's right next to Rise of Resistance. But the Falcon, it's just a screen. You know what I mean? It's like a video game. They could just reprogram that and do something else. So
yeah,
it still have the Falcon could stay there, and the rest of the park, like if they just took that TIE fighter out and put in something else, they could have that whole rest of the park change its theme to a different era. And I really think that because of if Book of Boba Fett does as well as the Mandalorian and that Ahsoka show does really well, if they're all well received, I could actually see them somewhere down the road going, all right, we're going to leave the area where Rise of Resistance is as sequel era, but this other half of the park is going to where the Falcon and that stuff is all going to change to Mandalorian era, and that at post Return of the Jedi. You know what
well,
I
and
mean? Like,
they could take all the area that Star Tours and do something with it, but the problem is that the Muppets are in between Star Tours and Batuu.
yeah,
So in order to enlarge it or do whatever to do some sort of connectivity, they'd have to knock down all the Muppet stuff
or
and
move the
or
Muppets to
move it
somewhere else.
somewhere. That would be way too costly.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think basically your idea of expanding it depends on where the hotel sits next to Batu,
yeah.
and then where you could move stuff around. But yeah, it would be
Well, I
nice
was
to
thinking, you know, that corner where there's a Tie fighter, like the Tie Ravager or something like
yeah
that, and then there's that gift shop which is
yeah that
First
whole
Order.
first order corner is
That
dumb.
it's dumb. It doesn't even work. So they could just lift that TIE fighter out, put in like Moff Gideon's TIE fighter, and
Yeah
then that corner could be Mandalorian. You know what I mean? Like they could
yeah.
just there's room inside the park to just tweak a couple things and change the theme. And
Well,
I
and
would not be surprised if they do that because the popularity of these Disney Plus shows is gaining such a momentum that people are going to the park and that's what they're going to want to see. And they
yeah,
have to eventually get on board. Disney does. And this Galactic Cruiser thing might kick them in the butt and just be like, okay, we have to do what the fans want,
this is
not
their
what.
rancor.
Yes, because the fans are already saying this isn't what we want with that Galactic Star Cruiser. They want to be in the rough world of Star Wars. They don't want
Yeah
to be on a Starship Enterprise. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Inside a Star Wars universe. You know, it's like. But anyways,
Well, and it's I think they'll find it quick enough, and
yes,
Disney
they
is
will
good
eventually. Yeah,
at turning and
yeah,
figuring it out. But when you have lands that are locked like that, that's where it gets you.
yeah,
And so like Indiana Jones, that's shut down. The shop is shut down, and they all that Indiana Jones now is there is a small little place where you can get hamburgers and drinks
and a photo op by a Jeep.
and a photo op by a Jeep.
Yeah,
That
but
is also actually something else I would recommend everybody get. If you're going to stay on site and you're going to go a lot, get that memory maker thing.
yeah. The
It's about
photos were cool.
$200, and we did it. And there are people everywhere.
And they're not. It's not just you in front of a thing. Like
Yeah,
Chris and I did one where the guy actually gave us direction, and that was cool. He told us where to point, told us how to express ourselves in a certain way, and then when the picture's done, there are animated characters that are in with you
yeah,
that you're sort of reacting to. So it's almost like an augmented reality photograph that they take where they add in all this extra stuff that's not there in reality, you know?
yeah. I've got one with me in front of the haunted mansion, and I'm the third hitchhiking ghost. And so that made me happy.
Yeah,
But
that's
they have
cool.
them all over, and it doesn't take as long as you'd think. because they're good at getting a lot of them. Like at Epcot, there were 6 different photo people doing shots of you in front of the ball. And so you could get from whatever angle you wanted, but because there were so many of them, the line wasn't very long.
Yeah.
I would say if the line's more than about 10 people, come back later. But if it's less than that, you're going to get up there. They do like 4 or 5 different shots. They'll have you do, like John was saying, they'll have you put your hand out. And one of them, my mom has Chip from Beauty and the Beast sitting there, or they had her
the
do
cup.
this,
Yeah.
and she's got a whole bouquet of those Mickey Mouse balloons.
Yeah, neat.
And it's pretty cool. And they'll even do some stuff like we're actually going to use one of the pictures for our Christmas card because they took our picture and then it's got Chippendale inside a tree, Christmas tree. And so we're going to use that for our Christmas card this year. But I would definitely recommend getting that. I know $200 seems like a lot, but it will save you the trouble of trying to find somebody to take pictures of you in front of the castle or in front of the Tree of Life or Tower of Terror or wherever they are in front of the Falcon. You know, they're.
And if you're there like you were for about a week or so, when you spread it out over that much time, it doesn't seem like that much money. You know what I mean?
I think I got like 225 or more pictures.
So you're
for $1 a piece from a real photographer, you know, who gives you, and then you download them. You have 30 days once you're home. You hit the button. You can download them to whatever you want, and they're yours. You can do whatever you want with them now. And so I would say the Memory Maker is a great investment. I really would.
You got to send me that Ratatouille one. I want to.
Yeah, I will.
But I got to say one other thing real quick. This shocked me. Okay. Go to your local Walgreens. Paul from Paul's Collectibles also found this in his area, and I've been finding it in my area. I went into my Walgreens the other day to pick up a prescription for my father, and I of course, have to check the toy section. And they had all the vehicles and ships from Force Awakens and Last Jedi on the shelf at discounted prices, like $10-15. The A-Wings, the TIE Fighters, the speeder that Finn came with from Force Awakens that wasn't in the movie. The snow speeder one that wasn't in the movie was there. This thing from The Last Jedi from Canto Bight, $15 in the Walgreens with the figure. And I gotta say, I love this action figure. I think this is a really cool design, and this shocked me because I like this ship design. I think this is a really cool speeder ship. It's got like these parts that move. The areas for the legs can move up and down, so you can position the character in different spots. The control levers move; they're all movable. These guns down here move. The wings all move. Like everything moves on this thing. These little like propeller fins move.
Yeah, and that was just from a throwaway shot when they were looking for him on the beach, right?
The weapons shoot everything, and it's got a really nice handle thing in the back here to hang on to it. And this was the ship that when it came out in the regular stores, you could not find this. It was there one day and then it was gone and it never showed up again. And I was just shocked to find it on the shelf at a discounted price because I've been looking on eBay to buy one of these because I liked the ship design from the moment it came out. And like even a month ago, looking on eBay, they were going up to like $70, $80 for them brand new in the box. And then here they are, $15 at Walgreens.
I think I got mine when they were shutting down TRU.
I was sort of upset that I never got one, and I was thinking like I'm never going to pay $70, $80 like people want on eBay. And then all of a sudden $15, and now when you go on eBay, they're dropped down to nothing. Like the scalpers had to reduce their prices because they must be all over the place now at all the Walgreens and stuff. And it's funny, like so. And I just love this figure.
Yeah, I love that design.
Like Paul at Paul's Collectible was showing pictures on Twitter at his Walgreens. He was finding Black Series figures from 4 or 5 years ago.
Huh.
at Walgreens on the shelf, you know. So it's crazy how much old stock is showing up at these stores, you know.
Non-Disney, that would be crazy. That would mean that there's a fireworks show at 9:45 and then another one at 11:54. That means you're going to have to get in your spot by 7 and sit there till midnight
Wow.
for that. That'll be nuts. Because that's what we did for the Christmas party thing. There's 2 sets of fireworks. One was at 8 and one was at 11:15. And so we had to try and figure out how to get back and forth and still do stuff. But I bet you those will be awesome.
Oh yeah, because it'll be the New Year's countdown. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why
Yeah,
you should not use eBay low.
You know, sometimes you have to. If you miss something, like until Mark got me that Emperor figure from The Last Jedi, I was gonna probably have to pick it up on eBay because we didn't get them here, and I just never saw them really.
There's some things I just won't buy, even if like once it gets to a certain price above what its retail was, I just don't care anymore. I'm like, I'm not going to buy it. But it used to be the good one was Mercari until very recently. The last couple months, Mercari has caught up or surpassed eBay prices.
Yeah.
And now they're getting ridiculous. It's some of the stuff on Mercari is.
I know.
No more deals. There's no more. I was finding bargains a year ago. Like, holy crap, this is so cheap. And but now it's like, nah, everyone's caught on.
There was some, there's some nice ones that are around me, and so they're easy. Either you can meet up with them and pick it up, or it's cheap to ship. And man, their prices are incredible now. I can't believe that but no, you came down and that was a lot of fun. We had a blast at Epcot. Then we met some friends who came from the west side of the state for supper at Disney Springs at House of Blues.
Oh, cool.
That was delicious.
Yeah.
Now, if you're going to Disney Springs is definitely something you want to check out. There's a lot of really neat niche stores and stuff there.
Yeah.
And lots of cool bars, lots of live music, but it is not something you can do in a couple hours.
No, you gotta spend half a day.
Yeah, you plan to spend most of the day there. Plan on going there, eating lunch, and then having dinner.
It's a bus trip to get to it, and what was it, like almost a half hour away on that bus, isn't it? Doesn't it feel like it?
It does feel like it, but I don't think it's really that far.
20 minutes or something?
Yeah, especially depending on where you're staying. I think next time we stay, we're going to stay at I'm trying. It's over by Epcot, and you could actually walk from there to Epcot, and then you can ride the monorail from Epcot to Magic Kingdom, and you can ride the Skyliner from Epcot to Hollywood Studios. So I think trying to figure out more centrally where to stay, because then you have that whole boardwalk area by Epcot now.
Yeah. Is that the Caribbean or whatever place? One of those places?
No, it's Debbie. Where are you guys staying? The French Quarter.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right behind the World section. Yeah.
Okay. It's right behind the World section. You can literally walk, or like with Mom, she could have just driven to Epcot.
Yep.
And got rid of all that time and that from one spot to another. So I think that's where I'm going to try and stay next time, just because I think it's centralized a little better. Because Mom really wanted to see the gingerbread house that's over at the Grand Floridian. We didn't have time. And it's just all these things. I wanted to see the new look of the Contemporary because I hadn't been there in forever. No time. We didn't even get on the monorail to do anything. Because time is your enemy at Disney.
Yeah.
And you need to definitely sit down and plan. I don't necessarily think you need one of those like guidebook things, because the internet can show you all the maps. And YouTube will walk around. All Ears does some great walkarounds and shows you different food and stuff. There's a couple people I follow who do walking stuff almost every day. They're at the park walking around, and they'll show you like little hidden places where, you know what, this is a great bathroom because nobody knows this is here. And I will tell you that's hard to do
Yeah.
because the bathrooms fit into the theming so well. If there was not a sign that says these are restrooms, you wouldn't know it except for the amount of women coming out of them. But I have only been to Disney World and Disneyland. I have not been to Paris yet. Next trip, hey Dave, see you later. Next time we go to England, I'm going to Paris.
Okay.
John, did you get to Tokyo when you were in Japan?
No, but I wish I did. I mean, we even talked. We even walked right by the entrance. I was there with my girlfriend at the time, and we actually kind of talked about it, but we didn't end up going. And it was something that we immediately upon leaving, you were like, we should have went to Disney. Why didn't we do that? Like,
Yeah.
because it was also a little bit of timing because we were in. So we went to Tokyo and Sendai and like Nagasaki and Hiroshima and stuff like that, and backpacked around. We were backpacking around Japan,
Mm.
and then we met up with a tour group to go to Mount Fuji because originally the tour group was going to climb. We were going to climb Mount Fuji. We were going to they would take you to the top, but there was still too much snow when we were there, where they had closed down the upper part. So we only got to go a little bit up, and then they took us to towns that were surrounding Mount Fuji so that you could see it from different angles, get a picture of it reflecting off the lake and various other stuff. So the tour group still took us around to a number of places. And then they added on a trip to like these islands down south. So we got on like a big bullet train and took off with them down south. So there was a little bit of timing issue with our plan because when the tour group was set to go, you had to meet them and go. And then when you were with the tour group, there's no room for you go on the set schedule that they have. You don't really have a. And then when we got back to Tokyo, we didn't really. It just didn't fit in. We were like just what we were doing. We had met my friend Brian, who was over there teaching English at the time, so we wanted to meet up with him because I hadn't seen him in a couple years, and so it was just like a bunch of other stuff going on that I guess is why we didn't fit it in. But we really should have. It's the same thing like when I went to Italy. We spent, I was in Japan for 5 or 6 weeks. I was in Italy for 5 or 6 weeks, and we never went up to Milan and Venice while we were in Italy. Like we didn't do northern Italy, and it's like, well, why didn't we go to Milan or go to like Milan's where the Ferrari factory is? We should. And I was with my brother, who's a big car fanatic. Like he would have loved going to the factory and seeing where Ferrari's made, and we didn't go, and Milan's like the fashion capital of the world, and at least it was. I don't know if it still is, but it's like I was working with those girls doing the fashion stuff and helping out do runway shows and stuff like that. So why didn't we go to Milan? It was like stupid.
Yeah.
And it's those kind of things that when you get back from a trip like that, you're just like, we could have made that work. We could have fit that in. Why didn't we do that? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. See, and that would be something I'd want to see in New York. Everybody's like, oh, the Statue of Liberty and stuff. I'm like, okay, I've been there. I've done that. I have not seen the Ghostbusters firehouse.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And that's another thing too, like having lived there, okay, every year I lived in upstate New York from the time I was born until I was like 23 or something like that. I think I moved when I was 23 years old. And that during the years after having a car, I went 1 or 2 times a year to New York City. There was just something we did. My friends and I, we would drive there and go to New York City. And then especially when I met up with those girls and we were doing the fashion stuff, we did 2 or 3 shows in New York City, fashion shows, where they would show off their designs, the full runway thing. And it was the kind of shows where Donna Karan was there, Calvin Klein, so they were big shows. But we still didn't go to the Ghostbusters house anytime. Like, it's like nowadays, it's like, why? We were there so many times. We went to the Statue of Liberty. We went to all the buildings, Empire State Building, all this stuff, but it's like, yeah, why didn't we ever do that? Like,
yeah,
it makes no sense,
My excuse is Ghostbusters hadn't been made last time I was in New York, so that's my excuse. But next time I go, I'm definitely going to have to go down there.
But I didn't make that mistake when I moved out west. When I lived in Seattle, we drove down to Oregon and purposefully went to Astoria, right? Whatever, where the Goonies were. We went on Goonies Beach. We got up on the cliff and looked out over saw the stones. They're exactly there, just like in the movie. You can even line up your own little plastic key. And
I have cousins who live there.
And you
gotta come out and you gotta go.
You can go up that hill and actually see the houses that they were saving. Like the house they were that the Goonies, that they lived at. And
apparently somebody new owns it, and they don't care if you take pictures anymore. There was a couple who owned it who was threatening to put up fencing and all this stuff, and would call the cops. And this new couple is they seem to be Goonies fans, but
yeah.
But yeah. So no. So you picked up anything else recently? I know I still have to work, so I won't be on this week's Peg Warmers either. But
well, I got my Blue Thunder here.
Oh yeah, the Blue Thunder. I forgot.
I love this. This is incredible.
That is awesome.
I had to clean it up. It was pretty dirty, but I've carefully washed it, wiping little towels on everything to get rid of all the dirt. There was dirt in all the lines around the windows and stuff.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it probably helped to get a better deal on it because it just didn't. Like, I don't know why the guy who sold it didn't clean it up ahead of time. It's like you should clean it up, you'll get more money for it. But
was that Rimco or who made that?
This is actually made by what's it say there? It's like Multi-Toy Corp / Columbia Pictures.
Huh.
Made in Hong Kong. But it's real simple. It's like, to me, it looks like something should attach here, but I was really looking at it, and there are no missiles or anything. This is actually a camera. It's supposed to be a camera on this side and spotlights on the other side. Spotlights up front. The only gun and cannon is this mini gun on the front. This is a radar thing up here. It's got a jet engine. This thing moves in the back. Pretty cool.
Oh, cool.
And the rotors move. But the other neat thing is the rotors are on like little clips here. So I don't really want to do it, I guess, because they seem to be.
I'm trying to break it.
They seem to be in there really good. But yeah, there you go. See, they fold down.
Oh, cool.
So that you can, I guess, like if you landed it on a carrier or something, it would be folded up.
Yeah.
And then it's got a really cool Roy Schneider figure,
Nice.
ready to take on Jaws. But he's got bendable knees, and his head turns, his arms move, no elbow joints.
Yeah.
He's basically a 5 POA figure with bendable knees so he can fit in the cockpit and sit down right. But this figure feels like he's almost never been moved. He's beautiful. And so I don't want to bend his knees.
Inside the cockpit once, and that was it.
Yeah, I don't want to bend his knees and sit him down in there. I'm going to just like stand him up next to it or something when I put it on display.
Yeah.
But I've been wanting a Blue Thunder helicopter for many, many years. And I'm very happy that I finally got one. Because when I see them for sale, generally they're $150 to $200.
Yeah.
Without a box. If you've got it in the box, I mean, $400 or $500 easily. And I've been seeing that for the last 4 or 5 years, creep between $150, $200. And I managed to get this one for $115 plus shipping. It was around $130 with all the shipping and everything. And I was shocked when he agreed at that price, because he had it for a lot more. But we have been negotiating for a couple days. I think no one else must have been talking to him about it. So he finally just went, I think I had him. I was down around 100 to 110. And then eventually he just came back like, how about 115? And I was like, what's $5? All right, let's do it.
Yeah.
And I wasn't going to get one for any cheaper than that. You know, I knew it, so I grabbed it. And then I was trying to negotiate for the Fall Guy truck with Lee Majors, the
Yeah.
3.75-inch Fall Guy truck with the figure, and I was around one. I was about 130. I was in the 130 range, and then he wrote me back. And he's like, "I sold it, man. Someone offered a lot more than what you did, so
Okay.
he sold." And I was like, "Oh crap!" But because that one you can't find. I mean, the truck was immaculate. It was in perfect shape. The figure would look like he had never been touched. The truck still had the winch on the front. All the plastic grill and everything was there. The metal work was still perfect and silver. It wasn't rusted at all. It's a die-cast truck that's big.
Yeah.
With the plastic windows that always yellow and turn colors. It has a plastic white front end on the front of the truck with a silver metal winch in it and a rope with a hook on it. You kind of can winch it out, attach it to something, and wind it back up. And that white part that holds the winch is always broken, and the winch and everything is always rusted. The truck wheels are those plastic wheels that were stuck on with the metal pegs, you know?
Yeah.
That's always rusted on these things. And because kids played with that truck outside, just like a Tonka truck, you know, and it's constructed a lot like a Tonka truck. Those plastic wheels with the metal axles clipped on, and I think Erdl made the Fall Guy truck with the figure. And like I said, this one was immaculate. The stickers were perfect. Everything was beautiful on it. And I'm sure that, you know, under normal circumstances, that truck would be more than $200. And the figure itself, you almost can't find that figure. I've seen him a couple of times, $100 alone just for the figure, because you can't find him. And like I said, when we were negotiating, I was around 130. I don't know what he ended up selling it for, but he was like someone, you know, we were talking for about a week, you know, so there was a week or more where it just wasn't selling.
Yeah.
But someone finally must have come along and offered him more what he was hoping to get. And it doesn't surprise me at all if it was closer to $200, because that thing is well worth it, you know.
Probably. Country music. I like Disney World out of the two parks, and out of Disney World, I still think the Magic Kingdom will always be number one, just because of the feeling you get when you walk in.
Yeah.
When you see the train station and you walk through and you see the castle, but Hollywood Studios is coming close. They're doing a lot there. I really liked Toy Story Land.
Yeah, it's
neat. The rides or anything, but the theming is incredible.
There's giant, like, what do they call those? They're not Lincoln Logs, but the wooden ones with the pegs.
Tinker Toys.
Tinker Toys. There are giant Tinker Toys around. And that's what's kind of cool, is seeing, like, pretending you're the size of an action figure with all the other toys around. Yeah.
But what Toy Story Land needs are trees. Oh my God, that whole park is in the sun.
Oh, yes. Yeah. They need more trees or more shaded areas. You're right. Yeah.
I've been to Universal in California before they added Harry Potter, but we didn't get out. We wanted to go, but again, time. You know, we've got some friends who are going to spend, I think they're spending 5 or 6 days at Disney and then 3 days at Universal.
My brother and I want to go one of these trips when we go up there to go to Universal, because we want the Jurassic Park stuff, the Harry Potter stuff. We want to see it at least once. So, yeah.
Well, and it'll be interesting to see. I don't know. I would, and this is just the stupidity of the theme park fan in me. I want to know what their contracts and stuff look like, because Disney now owns The Simpsons.
Yeah.
So how long are they allowed to use The Simpsons as a theme park thing? And I know they just pay Disney money for the Marvel stuff. But you know, there's bits and pieces that, you know, Disney now owns of the Universal parks.
Yeah.
But, you know, I hear that, you know, their hotels are much newer, so they're a lot better, you know, designed and stuff. But
see, the interesting thing about the stuff that Universal has as far as Marvel, like they have that Spider-Man showcase ride, they have the Hulk roller coaster. like all you really have to do is change the signage.
Yeah.
Because, like, I mean, in that front of the car, I think on the Hulk one, the very front car might have to change a little bit of design or repaint it or something, you know. But it's like they and I have heard that somewhere in the next 2 or 3 years, at least the Hulk is going back to Marvel, going back to Disney, and they're not going to be able to use the Hulk as the roller coaster, so that will have to change. But the roller coaster won't go away. All they're going to do is rebrand it, put a new sign up, and it'll be something called something else. But that's all going to end up in the in Epcot, is from what I understand. Like when I was looking at the changes, it's going to be Marvel is going in the Future Land at the future. Like Epcot's being divided into three things. Like but not the World Showcase. The World Showcase stays the way it is, but the other half of Epcot is being divided into three sections. I think it's like past, present, future, but they've got names for them. They've got weird names.
It's just weird to me that they've decided Marvel needs to be in Epcot, unless I mean, obviously it's because Epcot is the least future, you know, Epcot itself, not the World Showcase. Is probably not as popular as everything else. So you drop some Marvel rides in there.
Yeah.
It will be like, you know, my least favorite of the parks is Animal Kingdom because I think I haven't spent enough time there to really the theming is incredible.
Did you get to go into the Avatar land, at least walk around?
I got to walk around for a few minutes, but we didn't get to go back.
It looks incredible. It looks you got to go at night. Oh my gosh, it's unbelievable.
I wanted to, but we didn't know that the park was closing at 7.
Yeah,
and so we got there, did a whole bunch of stuff.
Right now it closes early. Yes, right now it closes real early. Yeah.
So it was like, you know, but oh man, I like Demarius Thomas. That sucks. Wow, 32. Holy
seizure! Wow, I didn't know
that. Wow. I hope that didn't have anything to do with him playing the game. But what? Who died? I had tickets to the Mike and Davey show, or Mike and Mickey show. Oh man. Stupid COVID. I had tickets for him when they were coming by last year and they canceled. Yeah, so no, I think and you know, the Africa is beautiful, and we got to see the Lion King show. That was cool.
Yeah.
And Asia's neat. There's a lot of really cool theming in Animal Kingdom. The whole Dino Land USA thing doesn't work.
I haven't been there in a while, but because the last time when my brother and I went to Animal Kingdom, we did the Avatar Land and we went on the safari. And then, like you said, the park was closing, so we couldn't go to the other half. We didn't do the dinosaurs or Asia or take the train up to that other area.
Oh man, that dinosaur ride fucked my back up horribly.
Many years ago, probably like 10 years ago, we went there and went on the dinosaur, and I liked the dinosaur part at that time, like 10 years ago, but I don't know what it's like now, because back then they had like a brontosaurus bone, like thigh bone standing up, and you could stand next to it and see how tall you were next to like just the one part of a brontosaurus, you know, or whatever it is. And then they had like a T-Rex skull with the mouth open, and I put my head in it, and they got a picture of me like being eaten by a T-Rex, and then the dinosaur ride was based on that movie, the Dinosaurs movie.
Yeah.
And there were little areas where like they had fossils. I remember like fossils of like the pterosaurs and maybe the plates or something of a stegosaurus and like the horns of a triceratops and just different things.
Yeah.
It wasn't like complete skeletons. It was bits and parts. Well, the pterosaurs, I think, were complete skeletons, but it was like smaller things that they had. But it was neat to see that stuff as you're going through lines and doing other things. I don't know if it's still that way, but
country music, I am not a good judge. A Haunted Mansion is my favorite ride ever, period. Followed closely by Pirates of the Caribbean, but I don't do roller coasters.
I have not been on the Everest one because I want to go on that. I want to go on the mines with the sleeping, or what is it?
Seven Dwarfs
Beauty, the Seven Dwarf Mine thing. But see, when I go with my brother, it's the same thing. He can't go on roller coasters because he'll screw up his back.
Yeah.
Anything that jars his back, because this is bad. In addition to the cancer and all the stuff he's dealing with, his spine has microfractures all throughout it. So
Ooh.
any shift or anything that moves him, immediately his back is gone. So you can't do we and I don't want to just make him sit there while I wait in line for a half hour, then get on the ride. Like what you know what I mean? It's like so
Yeah.
I got to do those things one time when I go by myself and not with a bunch of people, unless I'm with someone who can go on it. And then my
Yeah.
brother can go do something else with someone else who doesn't want to go on, and the two of us who can go on will go on. But I don't want to leave him alone because that's
And that's kind of what came of why I didn't get to ride a lot, because mom couldn't do as much as she hoped she would be able to do by the time we got to the parks.
yeah,
And if you have limited mobility where you at least you can go up or down a step and you can like walk for a few minutes, you're fine. But mom can't do ups. She can do down fine, but ups, her knee just can't take it. She had knee surgery a few years ago and it did not go well.
yeah.
And so
So she could get down into the ride, but there's no chance she's getting back
there's
out
no getting back
afterwards.
up. She will
Yeah,
be on It's a Small World for the rest of her life, forever, unless
yeah,
they get a crane and come get her. But it's so if you have somebody with limited mobility, but make sure you're really doing research on what rides they can go on, what rides you can take. You can get
yeah,
off your scooter and get into a wheelchair and get taken on the ride. There are several of those, like the Safari. You
yeah.
can actually get taken onto that, and there's a few others. But yeah, like you said, I didn't want to just leave her there.
No, you don't.
It's
Yeah.
my mom, so whenever we did leave her there, we'd come out and show of, some poor cast member had gotten too close and he captured.
And now
And
they're your best friend.
yeah, and half the time cast members like talking to people, but then but yeah, it is a lot more research, and I would say YouTube is your best thing because you can see what the rides do. There's enough people who have filmed the riding them that you can see if it's going to be really jerky or if it's smooth or where there's dips that you might not think. Like Pirates of the Caribbean always gets people because they don't realize there's a drop,
There's a drop in there. Yeah,
and
yeah,
it always gets them.
yeah.
It's hilarious that when that happens, especially for little kids. um I like Magic Kingdom better. I like the look of the building. um and I love the Antietam look of the of Disneyland's. It's what you think of when you think of a nice haunted Louisiana plantation type thing. But I'm more of a Edwardian Victorian haunted
Yeah.
mansion type guy, and that's what I think of when I think of the haunted mansion. I think of the one that looks more like it came from New England.
Did you see the carriage outside with the ghost horses?
Yeah,
Hmm.
but
Nice.
oh, cool. Mhm. But well, we've taken up probably about enough of people's time for today.
Yeah,
Um,
I gotta get some food.
yeah, I got to go down and make something up. So I can't guarantee how much. It looks like I might be able to do some toy hunts this weekend. So look for those coming out. I don't know what's out there because I haven't been anywhere in like 2 or 3 weeks. So hopefully it'll be cool. I'll see some good stuff.
Well,
Um,
I just before this stream, I locked in a deal with a guy who's got the Sky Striker, the GI Joe hydrofoil, the big red boat that's
yeah,
like massive. We've got the troop carrier, we've got the slam, we've got the slugger, we've got the rocket pack thing, the Mamba, the little ski
jeez,
thing, the dreadnought vehicles. It's got the water moccasin, Sergeant Slaughter's triple T tank. It's got a
wow,
Mobot tank that's complete, even with the little thingy on it. The Wolverine tank, a couple other of these little green tanks with the big guns. I mean, there's got to be like 20 to 25 vehicles in this thing. And I locked in a deal with this guy. He's 2 hours away in Fort Myers, and just across the state. It's almost a straight shot across from where I am.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's it basically is going to end up being about the cost. Like if I were to go out and buy a Sky Striker and the hydrofoil alone, that's about the price that I secured this entire collection for.
Wow.
And there's a couple figures and a whole pile of accessories off to the side that he's got. Like, so, yeah, I just secured that deal, and I got to pay for it when I get done here, and then it's a set done deal, you know. And
Cool.
I'm looking forward to getting that. It's yeah. So
Wow, that sounds cool.
once
So are you gonna drive over and grab it?
I'm trying to work that out with him because he's coming up with this whole thing where he's like, I don't know how busy I am. I don't know if I can do that. I'd rather just ship it to you, and it's going to cost like $30 to ship it. So I'm like, let me save the $30. I'll just drive over and pick it up. But he's being wishy-washy about having someone come over and pick it up, which I can understand. These days, you don't want a stranger coming over, but
yeah.
The other half of me is like, I want to see what else you got.
Exactly.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
here,
if you've got all this, like, what else is there stored around this guy's house?
Yeah.
You know, like it's one of those things where like, oh, wait a minute, you've got Star Wars, Thundercats. Oh, you've got I'll take all that. You know, like. Convince my brother,
you go grab some food.
to do a road trip with me, and we'll just pick up this whole collection. You know, but. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. If I have to pay for shipping, I'll pay for shipping. It's all right, but we'll see.
Well, thanks to everybody for dropping by. It's nice to be back talking to everybody again. John, it was great seeing you, meeting you.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming down and seeing us. To Matt and Twig and Mike and Bridget and Bert and their daughters, thank you for coming down and seeing us. Mom had a great time meeting all of you. She can't stop talking about it. She had a great time.
I had a good time too. You know, I loved meeting your friend. I thought he was cool. You know, I mean, I didn't have a problem. I don't know.
He's an acquired taste.
But and your mom was awesome. I thought she has a personality that's all her own, and I loved it. And Chris, I mean, you, of course, it was great meeting you. And I tell you this truly. If we lived closer to each other, we'd be hanging out all the time. I'm sorry, but yeah, you had that kind of impact on me. I mean, you have since I met you on this thing, and there's a lot of people like that in this community. If we only lived closer, we'd be hanging out all the time.
Yeah,
but it's like so.
Yeah.
And anytime you're back in the area or I'm up in your area, we'll get together, of course.
Cool. All right. Well, until then, guys, catch you on the flip side.